everyone. Welcome to Episode 3, where we will be discussing future aspirations and career opportunities.
Thank you very much, AMFA. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, you talked about in the previous episodes about, how did London influence this and how did your race influence the sort of opportunities you went for with regards to biochemical engineering. But now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the future. So what I wanted to kind of know is, obviously, we talked about maybe in episode 1 about you growing up, but what sort of role models did you have growing up?
I say for me, the first person I think of is my mom, because she was in STEM as well. So she studied pharmacy at KCL, but she kind of changed her career path as she went along. So when we were in Canada, she had 2 pharmacies that she was running at the time. And then when she moved back to Nigeria, she kind of moved into education. So she kind of started her own company in Nigeria, and it really focuses on teaching kids STEM, using different avenues from robotics to Legos to coding. So she really inspired me because she really changed a lot and she really wanted to inspire the next generation and kind of pass that on. So she had a great career in pharmacy, but she definitely wanted to make more of an impact in her local community. So that's something that really inspired me and something that I definitely want to do in the future as well.
Yeah, I'll say my mom as well. So like I mentioned before that my mom is also an engineer and she did electrical engineering at university, which was a predominantly male subject. And she kind of talked about challenges of how she overcame that experience and everything. And also when I moved from Nigeria to Sweden, up until that point, my mom was more so a housewife in a way, if I'm say that. But she essentially started her career once we moved away from Nigeria. So at that point, she'd had 3 children who were already above 6 years of age. She moved to a new country with them and started her career fresh, got a master's degree, got a job, all while raising her children at the same time. So that to me showed so much strength. And from that, within like a couple of years, she progressed in her career. She was speaking at conferences and she was being invited to places to speak in her discipline. And people go kind of looking for her and for her expertise and just her growth. And seeing that, because I was old enough to understand and see that progression, that really did inspire me, just considering everything she went through and how she was able to build her career while raising 3 children.
For me, I'd also say mom, dad, and especially my dad, as he was, of course, he was black and he is black, and he was really at rock bottom, I would say, and he really had the strength and the willing to succeed and to achieve his goals and to be able to leave poverty and achieve his dreams. So that is a big model, and my mom as well, with all the hard work that she did. And I think that for some people who might identify as me, not being black, but knowing that you come from there, because my parents, as they had a whole part of their life in Africa, they're really attached to it. So even though I never went there, I feel like I'm part of that community and I have a lot of knowledge that I think part of the black community and is also part of me. And with that comes all these models that have been examples. And yeah, it resonates even for me, even if I'm not black. It resonates also for me, having these black models such as James Baldwin, who wrote a very nice book. In the book, he was defending black rights in America, and the book is called I Am Not Your Negro. And we also did a lot of studying about the conditions of black people in America throughout the decades in school. And I was the only girl with black origins, African origins in my class. And I really could identify to it and say to me, yes, we also have strong people and like models that we can have that really achieved some great things, and differences are not an obstacle to success.
That's really cool. Yeah, this is maybe a bit rogue and definitely a bit more historical. So I'm not sure whether role model is the right word, but Mary Seacole, she was, if you don't know, like Florence Nightingale, but in my opinion, better and got a lot less credit, probably because she was a black woman a long time ago. She really fought through all the odds to try help people. And I think, like I was saying in the first episode, where I was really into my horrible science books, so I was really interested in science, sort of in the past, she was definitely the first black woman that I came across with anything to do with healthcare. I think a lot of the time, if you look back in history, a lot of the black history can be a bit dark. It doesn't necessarily necessarily celebrate, you know, the achievements that people were capable of, largely because most people weren't given the opportunity. But seeing Mary Seacole fight through all the odds, get hit back, and then kind of get no credit for it, really, as a child, made me want to sort of follow in her footsteps. And reading those books where most people were white, most people achieving these things were white, made me think, well, maybe the history of science needs another black woman. Maybe I'm not the one, but when I was in school, that's what I thought. So yeah, that's definitely one that stood out to me when I heard this question. Obviously, like, my mum is also a huge role model. She couldn't go to university growing up, but since we finished primary school, myself and my siblings, I think she's now on her 4th degree. She's still going. So yeah, seeing her sort of not be able to achieve her dreams when she wanted to, but now being older, just carrying on pushing, was really inspirational as well.
Yeah, I'm also inspired by my mother. She moved here from Ghana when she was about 23, 24, and she didn't have a degree or education. So she went straight into the army, and she served in the army for, I think, about 6 to 8 years. And all the while she had 2 children, my older sisters, and pregnant of me, her second to last year. And it's so incredible because, like, when I say the army, I don't really deep what she went through, because she went to Afghanistan and Iran, and she also was able to survive being in the army as a black woman. Like, that was really crazy to me. And even in this day and age, it's probably bad. So can you imagine back then? But yeah, so every time I look at my mum, I'm just like, wow, she's amazing. And she has 4 kids. She's a chef now, and she's just doing so well. And I aspire to be like her. And she seems like she has everything under control. Yeah, that's a good woman.
For me, I would say it's both my grandmother and my mother. So my grandmother, she came over from St. Lucia in her late 20s, and she came over to the UK with nothing, and she built up everything all by herself. So she was able to get a job, a career, and then she ended up buying her own house. So that was really inspirational to me. And then with my mother growing up, she just worked in retail, but she also wanted to pursue a career in counselling. And then she didn't have the qualifications to actually go to university. So she went to college instead and got her diploma. And now she's working with a women's charity, working with women who have been through abuse. So that really inspires me as well.
I would say a big inspiration for me is my aunt. She's someone who's always sort of stood up for herself, is very steadfast, is like, she knows who she is, and she just knows how to get what she wants. She is a professor in America teaching theatre studies, and she's taught in America, in Ghana, and in Nigeria as well. So I think just the obstacles that she's faced when she was a renowned professor in Ghana, she moved to America, and she sort of had to start all over again and getting that recognition that she had previously. So that's something that really inspired me in terms of how hard she worked to sort of be able to be back doing lecturing after doing it for so many years in Africa. So I think that willingness, also the fact that she's a professor in theatre studies. I think being Nigerian, even the fact that she studied that, like, she had to go against my grandparents to do that. So that's just something that I think is so cool. And I just think she's a very cool person.
Thank you, everyone, for your answers. So now I kind of want to redirect it to everyone individually and kind of where you see yourself in maybe the next 5-10 years. What do you think you'll be doing, and what do you think the next steps are?
So before starting my PhD, I originally wanted to do the PhD just so that I'd have experience and I could go into industry. But now, having done in the process of doing a PhD and doing like the PGTA role where I've helped with teaching as well, I'm now considering possibly a different career route, something that involves doing research and possibly teaching as well. So maybe even staying at the university or something like that.
Yeah, so 5-10 years is a long time in the future, and I can barely think of what I want to have for dinner. No, but I think for me, I really do enjoy research, but also girls got to make money. So no, but I think for me, I've always thought about going into industry just because they have the funding and the resources to allow you to actually kind of do work that can have an impact. So I think for me, it'd be research in industry and kind of adopting more computational tools like machine learning, AI. And my PhD project does involve using those kind of methods as well. So working in that kind of space, but still, yeah, regards to research and acquiring knowledge?
I think for me, like, I have no idea what sector I want to work in still. I'm still exploring. But I think just in general, I kind of just want to make a positive impact in people's lives and feel fulfilled in whatever I'm doing. I think those are the main things that I look for in terms of a career, but I'm still not sure yet.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I feel like I'm still too young, but I would always feel like I'm too young. I always need to just make a decision. But I like how I'm open to lots of different things so I can explore stuff. I haven't shut the door for any sector or industry. So I just hope that it's a good one.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting that you mentioned a lot of how you're going, and it seems like some people obviously haven't really necessarily decided. Do you feel that studying in the biochemical engineering department necessarily limited your options, or do you think that even just having a biochemical engineering degree, you can go to other sort of areas?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like we're spoiled for choice because we're just open to so many things in biology, chemistry, maths, biochemistry, pharmaceuticals. It's just, there's so many options, and lots of people even go into finance, accounting, you can do law. There's a lot of things to do. So I feel like it's a good degree because as soon as they see you're an engineer, they know that you're a problem solver, and that opens the door to so many things.
Yeah, I agree with you. At the beginning, I was sure of what I wanted to do. And then I came into studies and I wasn't sure anymore because I said to myself, it looks like really, really pointy and very specific. And as I said, I was more into that bioplastic stuff, more into the environment, sustainability, and not more that medicine, pharmacology. And actually, that's something that I had to say to myself is that after that degree is so valuable. You gain so much experience in so many different things that actually it opens you to a lot of different options after that. And as you said, Edna, you can actually do whatever you want after that because that thing has so much, it's like a proof of very good study and very good knowledge. Then you're able to actually go in whatever you want.
I also think the skills that we pick up in this degree, like whether we know it or not, are like really invaluable. Like from the scenario weeks we have to do and the pilot plant weeks to the fact that we have to learn coding, all these different things, like so many different industries value these skills. So I think like even whether we're conscious of it or not, we're still picking up so many different skills. So even if you don't want to be an engineer, you'll still like really thrive in other sectors because they really love and value engineers, but also things like biotechnology and regenerative medicine, they're becoming really, really relevant. So it really prepares you for a lot of things.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Just want to reiterate what's been said. I think the degree in itself, it's super broad. You learn so many different things, and it's sort of a case where I think for a lot of people in a degree, me being a fourth year, so I'm seeing a lot of people come to the end of the degree. Some people did the B-Eng and they've graduated. It's quite common to still not know what you want to do. And some people do, and they're like, I want to go down this path. But this degree really does open you up for so many different things. Like people are doing masters either here or elsewhere. They're going into industry. Even me, I'm doing a year in industry for my fourth year. So currently I'm working at a pharmaceutical company, working as a scientist. And it's like, honestly, the other day I was sat there like, I really like this. I want to do this. But then I'm like, but like, I also really like my minor in programming. So maybe I want to be a data scientist. But then I'm like, but I also like teaching. So maybe I want to do that. But then I've done internships in consulting. So maybe I want to do that. So it's sort of like you're in that position where you can do quite a lot of things. And it's a good thing because I'm still so open to so many different things at the moment. And I'm grateful for that. But I think it's also, you might come to this degree and you might find something that you're completely in love with, and that's the area that you want to go down. And it's definitely an opportunity there for you to choose whatever avenue best suits you.
Yeah, I fully agree. One thing someone said to me actually when I told them I was joining the Biochemical Engineering department, they were like, well, that's all of the STEM subjects. I was like, well, yeah, it is. And it really does feel like that. Since coming here, I've learned so many things that I would have never learned. I'm traditionally more biology based. And then I also agree with the transferable skills. There's so many sort of team building, things where you learn to teach, presentation skills. So it could really translate into absolutely anything, not necessarily necessarily science. And I really feel like coming from this degree, even though doing a PhD is probably a bit more specialised, I could probably go into anything after if I wanted to.
Yeah, just to add to that, because I did do my undergrad in biochemical engineering as well. And I know people from my year that have graduated and gone on to do very different things. Like I know people that have gone on to do graduate medicine, people that are doing like data science. So you do get quite a broad exposure to a wide range of skills, and it exposes you to so many things. So the options are kind of endless. And yeah, with doing a PhD as well, I think it's giving quite a good foundational knowledge. And even if some of the things in my PhD I didn't do in my undergrad, I had some of the foundations there, like for example, the maths, like the coding, like people have said, and all of these things are transferable. And I'm quite an introvert, like I don't like public speaking, and Andy mentioned this at the start, but you have to give a lot of presentations in the undergrad degree, a lot of scenario weeks. So yeah, I had to get my stuff together and literally learn how to give presentations and not feel so scared. And the more you do these things, the more comfortable you feel doing them. So I think it gives quite a wide range of skills and transferable skills that you can use in literally any sector.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your answers. So I think now we can move on to our next portion of this episode.
Thank you very much for your answers. Now we're going to move on to the future generations in this kind of respect. But kind of looking back as well, obviously kind of think of yourself when you were in like secondary school, kind of coming to the end, you're choosing like college maybe for your options in that kind of respect, or depending on where they are. What advice would you give to yourself, knowing that where you are now, and what advice would you give to them if they want to follow STEM?
I think for me, I would say that I'll tell myself to just keep going and that all your hard work will pay off. And just not to worry, because I think I've ended up where I'm supposed to be. Don't stress so much and just keep going.
I agree with you. I'd say the same to me because I'm a very stressed person, naturally, and I always want to do better and better and better. So I put a lot of pressure, and I just say to my younger self, don't put too much pressure on you. You have time. It's not the end of the world if you don't know what's after your degree that actually you want to do something else. Nowadays, we don't have only one job that we do our whole life. We can do a whole lot of things. And especially that degree gives us a lot of open doors. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put too much stress, and try to enjoy the moment. And don't be afraid, again, to try things and to take the opportunities if they're in front of you, and not saying to yourself, oh, I'm not that good enough. That's not for me. I shouldn't be here. No, just try and you'll see, and it will pay off. Or at least it will give you some sort of experience of things that you like and you don't like. And it kind of shapes you and it helps you to know you better.
Yeah, I would absolutely also tell myself, just don't stress about it. You know, you'll end up where you need to be. As much as I thought I was grown when I was choosing my undergrad degree, and as much as I thought I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life, that has changed about 10 times. It's still changing. So I think don't stress. Maybe if you're like me and a bit more uncertain, a degree like biochemical engineering, where it has so many avenues, is a good choice. Keep your options open. Don't stress. Enjoy those years of youth.
I would say don't overthink, because overthinking is one of the things that got to me when I was younger. And it's okay to fail, because you need to fail to know where you went wrong and to know how to do better next time. So even accept failure as like a stepping stone, as a learning curve, and it will all work out after that.
I would tell myself to never doubt myself and to never give up as well, and just to make the most of every opportunity, like saying Chloe, and also to just keep going and just don't give up, really.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Basically, don't stress, and like there really isn't a wrong decision. Like whatever decision you make, it's going to teach you something about yourself regardless. And that doesn't mean it's a wrong decision. It just means it gave you an opportunity to learn something about yourself. So don't stress about it. Like you will end up where you're supposed to at the end of the day. And it's not the end of the world. If you choose something and you don't like it, you can always change. It's really not the end of the world.
I would say I have two things. Number one, ask questions. I think it's really important to just sort of let go of the inhibitions and just ask any questions that you might have in terms of just anything really, whether it's at school, if there's something that you're confused about, just ask it, or even when deciding what option to take in terms of A-levels or maybe even your degree, try and find people to just ask the questions to, because most people are quite happy to answer them. And then secondly, I think it's sort of really important to cultivate relationships. This is a little bit less related to STEM, but really invest in your friendships and the people around you, your parents, your family, because I just think that's such an important part of life. And spend time with the people around you, because it's just nice to have just people that are there to support you, because that's always going to be important going forward. And also it's nice to just have people that you can lean on.
Thank you everyone for listening, and to all you ladies for your contribution to this episode. If you'd like to know more about UCL Biochemical Engineering, feel free to check out the department's website.